civilizations out in far-flung galaxies. When it comes to that, you've probably seen it, you know, like on Star Trek. In Star Trek, they use a communicator, or the thing they hold in their hand, and they try to, you know, Captain Kirk will sit in his chair and he'll hail some alien vessel that's moving along, and they'll try to talk to it using some form of carrier wave. Same thing, I think, in Star Wars. They're using, you know, space-bound carrier waves to talk from one species of humanoid or living creature to another. You might be surprised to know that the way that people are contacting the aliens now in the 21st century, we actually have people who totally 100% believe that they are in contact with what they call the star people. And they call them our friends, and we're going to see that. But let me show you how these people make a phone call to ET. Take a look. I guess their hands are like antennas and so on. No, I don't believe that. What are these people doing? They're practicing yoga, which, if you don't know what the word means, it's a Sanskrit word that means yoke. They're tied. And the idea is, I'm not kidding you, look it up. The idea behind yoga is connecting or being yoked to a god. Brahma, Buddha, Shakti, Shiva. Name 330 million gods and you can connect to any of them. That way you're yoked together with them. Can you think of a Bible verse where it talks about being yoked? Be not yoked together with unbelievers. For what concord hath Christ with Belial, and so on. And so, while these people, let me just kind of explain the difference here. Instead of using a radio or using, you know, a telephone, a cell phone to contact them, which would require us knowing their language and they knowing our language, which is a topic of itself. The thing is that most people who have had some sort of interconnection with the entities that are aboard the flying chariot, say that they spoke a language that they did not understand. Did you know that's in the Bible? Deuteronomy chapter 28, God promised to send a nation from far.
You're dead.
Beyond the earth. And it would be a nation of fierce, not regarding the old or the young. A nation whom thou shalt not understand. He didn't say eventually. He said you will not understand it. And so how do you suppose that we contact an alien species that has traveled millions of light years to this planet here to bring in a golden age of enlightenment and peace and marijuana and happiness and pass the whiskey and the bomb? How do we expect to have those people help us with our transformation into the God people? Well, since we can't communicate with them in words, then the idea is we will communicate with them using practices that people of ancient religion have been using now for thousands of years. We're going to allow those people to have access to our minds, and we're going to communicate with them not with words, but with thought. And they're going to communicate to us not with words, but with thoughts. And these practices, I'm going to lay out the scriptures for you. These practices are strictly forbidden by God all throughout the scriptures. So what we're going to do first, while these people make their phone call to ET, we're going to go line upon line through scriptures. We're going to lay a biblical foundation for what we're going to look at today. Genesis 3. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. the midst of the garden, God has said, "You shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest ye die." And the serpent said unto the woman, a direct contradiction of what God said, "Ye shall not surely die. For God hath said that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened." And what is to that phrase? Your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. Three things that the devil promised here. The serpent. And understand this imagery of a serpent, because we're going to see it again. Believe it or not. So if you want to study the UFO phenomenon and do an honest study of it, you are going to run into a species or a race of UAP, UFO, flying saucer inhabitants that are referred to as the reptilians. Why? Because they look and they act as like serpents or lizards or dragons, is one of the Bible words. So pay attention to what this serpent is doing right here. Then he promises her that she won't die. We're going to see that again too. Near-death experiences where people come back and they have this enlightened idea of death and life again. For God says, your eyes shall be opened. Well, we've got two eyes, but they teach that you have a third one right here, right where your pineal gland is. And that eye needs to be open. Believe it or not, guess what creature they believe opens the third eye? The serpent. Ye shall be as gods, was the last thing he said, knowing good and evil. That's also part of this as well, and we're going to see it as we move along. I have a lot of information to give you, and I'm going to try to give it to you in one video, all right? Deuteronomy chapter 18. Here's the list of things that God said, don't do these things. Now, is God just trying to rain on our parade? Is he out to destroy us having a good time? Does God not want us enlightening our mind and opening our mind up to different ideas and different thoughts? Or you may have been led to believe by some people that this evil patriarchal God is withholding all the good stuff from humanity, and it's the serpent people and the reptilians and the tall whites and the little grays and all the other different species that are out there. It's their job to try to get them to mankind. In that sense, they're not that far away from, who was it that wanted to go into heaven to steal fire from the gods? He goes up into heaven and steals fire from Zeus and the other gods on Mount Olympus, and he brings fire now to mankind. And the gods are angry with him, and so in order to punish him, they punish him for all of eternity, because he dared bring something that was only for the gods, fire, and brought it down to mankind. And the gods didn't like that. Is that the way God is? Is that the way the God of the Bible is? No. God only withholds from us and tells us not to do things. It's because he's being a loving heavenly Father. Just as a good father here on this world would teach their children, don't go too far next to that hole there. You might fall in. Don't go hanging around this lake. There's got snakes in it. Don't get within too far from being able to see home. That way we can reach you if we need to. A good father will seek to protect his children from harm or being kidnapped or being killed. He will seek to protect his children from those things that he knows can bring them harm. And God is the same way here. God knows the devils and the entities that are behind these particular practices. And God is telling us, don't get involved with it. This is why I've been telling you all along now, don't use Ouija boards. They are absolute occult divination practices. You're going to see that here. God says just don't do it. Deuteronomy 18:10. There should not be found among you anyone that maketh his fire, or that uses divination, and I'll explain divination in a little bit, or an observer of times, that's an astrologer, or an enchanter, that is someone who uses incantations and mantras, or a witch, someone who casts spells, or a charmer, someone that uses amulets and so on, or a consulter with familiar spirits, that is what we would call a medium, fortune teller, or a wizard, pretty close to someone who has a familiar spirit, or a witch, or a necromancer. And a necromancer is someone, we'll put it in the terms that some of these religions use. The New Age seeks after the ascended masters. Well, who are the ascended masters? They are, in many cases, people who used to live on this world, and they died, and they went to the higher ethereal plane, and they are sort of like guardians of the galaxy, and it's their job to pass on this great, awesome wisdom to mankind and to any other species out there that would hear it. So these ascended masters basically are dead people. That those who practice getting in contact with them, those who practice in the Native American religions, they honor their ancestors, their forefathers. They pray to their forefathers. They say they're part of the sky gods now. One of the reasons why most Indian tribes buried their dead high up on platforms is the idea that if we put them in the ground, they won't go up to the sky. So we're going to put them up here, literally, as the ravens and the vultures and whatever animal came by to eat those people, those carcasses, and they flew up into the heavens. Those Native American tribes and First Nations believed that that's how they would achieve their trip into heaven. Okay? And God said, just, stay away from it. These people are not telling you the truth. Even in Japan, you have ancestor worship. They honor their ancestors, which is what drove them partly to do what they did in World War II. They were following the shogun's call, as it were, all right? But anyway, these are 9 things that God said don't do them. Why? Because they're linked with evil activity. They are linked with the presence of demonic spirits, unclean spirits, familiar spirits. We saw the definition of that the last time. So God says, stay away from them. I'll be your guide. I will tell you what you need to know. Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things that thou knowest
Jeremiah
not. That's what
33:3.
God said. Jesus said, ask and it shall be given. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. So, if I have my God, who has promised me that if I ask him a question, he will give me an answer, and it will be the right answer. If I need something from God, God will either give me what I ask for or something better than what I ask for. The bottom line is, I know that I can go to God with my problems, with my questions, with the help that I need, and I will get it easily. All I have to do is call out to the name of the Lord. Cry unto the Lord, the Bible says. It's that simple. Jesus said, call unto me, then I will answer thee. Okay? Where 2 or more gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. If any 2 of you agree as touching anything in heaven and earth, it shall be done. Whereas these jokers make you, will answer thee. Okay? Where 2 or more gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. If any 2 of you agree as touching anything in heaven and earth, it shall be done. Whereas these jokers make you learn long hours, spend long hours training to pray the right way, quote unquote pray, to meditate the right way, and sometimes you'll get it and sometimes you won't. And God just says, hey, I'm better than that anyway. I can do more than they can, and I'm just a better God all the way around. That's what I believe. Amen. Deuteronomy chapter 13, the Bible says, if there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and giveth thee a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder come to pass, whereof he spake unto thee, saying, let us go after other gods, which thou hast not known, and let us serve them. Now, this scene that you're looking at here is a scene from Stephen Steven Spielberg's movie, The Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Steven Spielberg had read several books on UFOs. He had read, and Blue Book. In fact, he used J. Allen Hynek, who was the professor behind Blue Book. He used him and put a cameo of him in this scene where all the aliens are coming out of the mothership. He consulted Jacques Vallée, who has been, he has written several books, I don't know how many exactly, on the UFO phenomenon itself and how it's related to ancient practices of the occult, based upon ancient religions and so on. And that's always a red flag to me. Again, if we're wanting to contact these advanced species, how come is it, since they're so advanced, that they can't just make a radio and talk to us that way? I mean, when people do get thoughts transmitted to their brain from these aliens, it seems like they have a good comprehension of not just our language, but almost every language on the earth. That's what a familiar spirit does. He knows all the languages of the people that he's been assigned to. Why couldn't they just talk to us in some form? I mean, we've already gotten to the point where we don't have to use our voices either. We can type stuff in, and the computer will say it for us. Seems pretty simple. Seems pretty ancient as far as technology is concerned. But no, these have to be contacted via psychic abilities. In fact, the person in this movie, Close Encounters, Roy Neary, that is exactly how he ended up leaving his home in Indiana, driving all the way out to Wyoming to go to Devil's Tower, Wyoming. There's a reason why. I might get into that during the time. And there at Devil's Tower, Wyoming, the government's there, Neary is there. You've got 12 people as part of a interplanetary exchange program. I'm not making this up. There is a rumor on the internet that there was an exchange program. I'm not saying there was. But the fact that they picked 12 people tells me something. And here we have Neary's character, and basically they are seeking after other gods. Because it's manifest that their technology is way beyond ours. And any advanced technology, let's say someone from America right now, going back in time to like 1880, how would you explain how this mechanism worked to someone living in 1880? Or let's say, 1630, and you're in the Plymouth plantation, and those good Calvinists there, if you were to go back in time with a phone like that and show it to them, they would cry, "Witchcraft! You art thou living witchcraft!" Okay? Anyway, gotta move along. So, obviously, their goal is to use signs and wonders in the sky. When people see a UFO, they just go, some of them just curse nonstop. It's a sign or a wonder. But the purpose of that sign or the wonder is to get us, mankind, to go after other gods. And God says, you don't know what you're doing. Don't hang around those people. 1 Samuel 28.
Hold on, how do I make a banner of my home where I can put on my map? How do I put my house on the map in Minecraft?
warns us about familiar spirits as well. And Saul disguised himself and put on other raiment, and he went, and 2 men with him, and they came to the woman by night, and he said, I pray thee,
You guys are stupid.
divine unto me by the familiar spirit, and bring me him up whom I shall name unto thee. Now the definition of the word divining here in this verse, it literally means information given to you by way of psychic or familiar spirit means. In other words, rather than reading, I have my Bible open to the book of Haggai, rather than reading with my eyes the book of Haggai or listening to it as Alexander Scorby reads it, and then reading part of Zechariah or listening to it from a sermon or whatever, rather than us getting the words of God into our mind and our heart the normal way, those who use psychic means believe that they have the ability to transmit entire downloads, they call it downloads in 21st century terms, to download into their brain whole sections of the Bible or diagrams of certain technology. They use this psychic power to transfer information and thoughts in a way that is not according to nature. Nature says read it or nature says hear it, that they go supernatural into a paranormal state, and they are either given those thoughts and given those words and given those diagrams or whatever it is. One case that I know of, the RAF Bentwaters in England, there in the 1980s, there was a couple of UFOs that were flying around this nuclear storage base in England. And I think...
How do I put an icon of my house on the map of Minecraft? You fucking idiots, goddamn.
If you want to put a marker on your map, but you do not want to actually place blocks there, there's a really easy solution. All you have to do is just place down a banner of the color that you'd like your marker to be, then pick up the map that you'd like to mark, and of course you'd place the banner within the radius of the map, right-click on the banner, and it'll appear on the map like that. Now when you break the banner, it'll actually disappear off the map like that, but if you right-click on a banner that has words attached to it, so if it's named a certain thing, like Ominous Banner, it'll actually appear on the map. So for instance, we could name this, let's say, My House, and that'll appear up on the map. Also, if you want to know how to make this banner, I'll link that in the description. Thank you for watching that clip from
I think the colonel of the base, Colonel Charles Halt, I think he's the one that they found the saucer that had landed in the forest there, Ringlesheim Forest. He went over there and he saw this writing on it that looked like, cuneiform or hieroglyphics. And when he moved his hand, his fingers across the letters, he instantly got all of this knowledge, this information in the form of zeros and ones. And he said that thing stayed in his brain for days and weeks until finally he sat down with a pen and paper and started writing out the combination of those zeros and ones. If you know anything about computers, you know that's binary language. When he wrote the last one and the last zero, instantly that information was gone out of his brain because he had put it on paper. That is a way to get information by means of a familiar spirit. What Saul was doing here, because God was not going to talk to him anymore, Saul decided to go to the other team, the other side, the devil's side, Satan, the dragon, the serpent. And so a familiar spirit came up out of the earth, because the woman said, I saw gods ascending out of the earth. And that familiar spirit named itself Samuel. Saul believed it was Samuel, and that quote-unquote fake Samuel gave Saul information that he could not get anywhere else. That's what divination is all about. And this reason why I say don't use Ouija boards or any other kind of divination, because you are inviting a devil, a demon, an evil spirit to take control of a part of your body, your hand, or your mind, or God forbid, your heart. Revelation chapter 6. Let's look at this. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake. And the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as the fig tree casteth her untimely figs, when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And then in Revelation 12, verse 3, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. Now notice in Revelation 12 and Revelation chapter 6, that there's going to come a time when the Bible says that a third of the stars that are in heaven are going to fall to the earth. Now, years ago, when I was young, I didn't understand this. I thought, well, I know what stars are. Stars are like these big, fireballs in space, and most of them are bigger than the earth, so how can a third of them fall and hit the earth? Well, then I kept reading the scripture, and then I found out that when the Bible says stars, they also mean angels.
It's
When the Bible says
representation,
angels,
not
they
exactly
also mean
stars.
stars. You notice here in Revelation 6, the stars of heaven fell into the earth. In Revelation 12, it tells you how many, a third part of the stars of heaven. And then, to sort of cinch our understanding of it, he says in Revelation 12:9, the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. His angels is a reference to the third of the stars that fought with Satan against Michael and the other 2/3 of the angels. And they are part of the stars that fell from heaven and landed on the earth. Jesus said that very same thing in Matthew chapter 24, that the stars of heaven are going to fall. And so we put those things together, line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little and there a little. Isaiah 28 says, Paul says, comparing spiritual things with spiritual things. And did we discern in the scriptures that God is referring to angelic beings? And now I don't have a problem with these stars falling to the earth because I know what they are now. They are a third of the angelic host. And just in case you may not believe what I'm saying to you from the Word of God, I can ask you to believe the Word of God. We have a clue right here in this Masonic symbol. It's the symbol of the double eagle, and you'll notice that above its head it has a crown, and above that crown is a triangle. Remember that triangle. You're going to see it again. And it has the number 33 in it. What is a third as a decimal? 33.333333, and it goes on to infinity, right? Percent. You can never end cutting off something of a third. It just never ends. And then if we look below the eagle's wings, if you were to count these stars, I don't have time to do it today, there are exactly 32 stars here. The 33rd one is the eagle that you're looking at. He is the king over these stars. What are those stars? They're angels. Then why are those stars not up above the crown and the triangle? Because they've fallen. That's my guess, but that's what I think. And then the phrase ordo ab chaos. Ordo means order, like a political order, or order in general, things lined up. And chaos means chaos. But here's what's interesting. The Greek word chaos is also a term used for the abyss, the bottomless pit. So a technical meaning of order ab chaos means order from pit. Where does the beast come from? Where do these locust angels come from? They come up out of the bottomless pit. Where's the devil going to spend 1,000 years falling? In the bottomless pit. And so we have a reference here, I believe, to this 33% of the fallen angels that fall to the earth, that there is a king over them. And if you
I like
read
that hanging fly
Revelation,
pot.
get this number, 9:11. I did a video on that called The Beast of 9/11. Look it up, okay? But if you look at Revelation 9:11, you find out who that king is, okay? Let's move on. Now, we've laid the biblical foundation for what we're going to discuss today. Now we're going to move through various pieces of information that I've gathered together.
Banner.
Pictures, quotations from books, quotations from different documentary videos that have been made, not necessarily by anti-UFO people, but by the UFO people themselves. And most of this is going to come from Dr. Stephen Greer. When I first saw him, it was on his Disclosure Project video where he marched out, I don't know, 20 or 30 men and women that had worked for NASA, that had worked for the intelligence community, that had worked for the military in various forms, and they were all there sharing this idea that we are being visited, not just in our country, but in our military installations. One man relates a story that how he was assigned to Montana to a nuclear missile silo. He was down 30 feet underground, and he was manning the controls of that station. He gets a call from up top saying, "Sir, there's a UFO out here outside the gate." He says, "You want to come up look at it?" He said, "No, just keep your eye on it." He gets a call later that says, "Sir, this UFO now is right directly over the missile silo. What do I do?" And about that time, all 10 of the missiles that were stationed there and ready to be sent off into war, all 10 of those shut down. Not just the rockets, but the computer console as well. Took them months to get everything back operating again. Okay? These all came to tell their story. And I fell for this. I'm like, oh boy, Stephen Greer is going to be a good guy, man. He's going to expose the whole thing. Well, then you find out what Stephen Greer is really full of, what he's made of, what he does, what his agenda is. And we're going to start to see that agenda. Now, the basic topic of this is the fact that if I believe that there are alien entities coming to this earth, that we're not sure exactly what agenda they have in mind. I know what Stephen Greer says. Stephen Greer says that they are part of the God consciousness of the universe, and they have been drawn here to help us into the golden age. He keeps saying that, the golden age. And it's like a new age term, that he believes that these enlightened beings are going to come and they're going to give us their technology and they're going to show us how to heal things, and then we're going to do away with war, we're going to do away with money, we're going to do away with property, we're just going to live our lives and be transfigured, is a word that he used, that mankind is going to be transfigured so that he can live out among the stars and be one of the gods, like the God people that keep coming to this planet. That's what Greer believes, okay? And so, and the idea is that if I believe that he saw aliens, that he saw UFOs, saw them with his own eyes, and recorded things about them, wrote it down, memorialized those interactions that he had, if I believe him, and I do to a certain extent, then there must be something that ties these entities in with what the Bible says. In other words, we're not talking about, I don't know, some boy going out to his favorite creek one day and finding, a stone of solid gold out there that's been laying out there since the creation. Okay, some little one-item news story and is quickly forgotten about. We're dealing with something that literally, if it all is true, which some of it's not true, but if any of it's true, we're talking about a major event taking place here on this earth that will literally change almost everybody's perception of heaven, earth, God, the afterlife. Everything will change. Which is the mantra spoken by those in the CIA or those in top intelligence circles. Well, we can't let the public know about this. Well, there will be rioting in the streets. Religions will fall and crash. Mine won't. Mine won't. You know why?
Exactly.
I know the Bible and I know what they're up to. I know who they are.
Yeah.
And so, if these entities are what I believe the Bible says they are, then they are going to use what we would call psychic ability to speak to mankind, to perform certain functions like shutting off 10 missiles in a missile silo, taking people out of their rooms at night, vanishing them for hours on end, bringing them back to their room, and these people know that they've got missing time, they know they've had a strange dream, they don't know what it is. These people have abilities that lie far beyond what humans can do. And I believe that once a lot of people who have unwilling interaction with these entities, many of them say that now that they've had this, now that they've been on board the ship, or now that the alien touched me, or the alien did this to me, now I have abilities. I can see the future. I can read people's minds. I can move things with my thoughts. I can perceive things and divine things that I never used to before. I can see things with my eyes I never used to see before. A lot of people who have had contact with ET basically come out and say, we can do things now we've never been able to do before. Do I believe them? For the most part, yes, I do. Because those things have been exhibited and examined and tested in real life. And so we look to a book here written by Jacques Vallée. Remember, Spielberg used a lot of his material in writing the script for Close Encounters of the Third Kind. In fact, the character of Jacques Vallée shows up in the movie as Mr. Claude Lacombe, played by French director, and I'm going to get his name wrong, Francois Truffaut. Pardon my French. Spielberg was he was one of Spielberg's idols, and Spielberg invited him to come and play in this movie, and he did. He played the character of Jacques Vallée, this French guy who's been researching aliens and UFOs all his life. So Jacques Vallée wrote a book called UFOs, The Psychic Connection. Again, a regular conversation between us and an alien race would involve using maybe a radio, cell phone, some sort of electronic means, or just talking to them. But they don't do that. They get right into the brain of human beings. Notice what it says. A number of witnesses, for example, reported perceiving distinct messages inside their heads, a fact they interpreted as an indication of a telepathic ability on the part of UFO occupants. Now notice how Job responds to that. Now a thing was secretly brought to me, and mine ear received a little thereof, in thoughts from the visions of the night. Deep sleep falleth on men. Fear came upon me, and trembling, which made all my bones to shake. Then a spirit passed before my face. The hair of my flesh stood up. Notice this. Again, Jacques Vallée says, and so does Stephen Greer, and countless others say that they now have psychic abilities, now that they've made contact with these entities in various forms. Some meet the reptilians, some meet the little grays. Some people get to see the lady. The lady. That would be something I'll do in the future. Okay, you won't want to miss that one. You'll know who the lady is. All right. But anyway, Vallée is basically, he's got this whole book, and he's telling of people who have psychic abilities now. And what do I believe psychic abilities are? Do I really believe that these people can move things with their mind? Do I really believe that these people can transfer their thoughts to another person's head or receive thoughts transferred to their head? Do I really believe that people who are psychic have the ability to tell the future? No, I don't. I don't believe the ability is on the person at all. I think the gateway is the person. I think the actor is the person who pretends to have the psychic ability, but the ability is the devils or the spirits or the demons themselves. Take, for instance, if I say that I have the ability to move things with my mind, so I'm going to focus on this USB thing, and I'm going to focus hard enough, and lo and behold, I'm going to make it move. Well, my mind can't do that. Nobody's mind can do that. That's ridiculous. But an invisible entity can make it move. And you would say, how did you do that? Oh, I have abilities. What if you wanted to try to read somebody's thoughts? Do you have access to their mind? No, you don't. But what kind of entity does? Well, we learned here from Job that a spirit came to Job's friend in the middle of the night
In the middle of
and
the
had
night,
access
like
to
walking in my
his
sleep.
mind. He said, a thing was secretly brought to me in the thoughts from the visions of the night. There was a spirit there with this man who had access to his thoughts and could manipulate his thoughts. And read them. Oh, yeah, I believe the devil can do that. I believe spirits can do that. They can then take from somebody's mind a thought and transfer it to your mind or somebody else. I'm not participating, but transfer it to somebody else's mind, and it would make you think that they have psychic ability. So psychokinesis, the ability to move things with your mind, and all the other psychic abilities, foretelling the future. So what if you get a download one day
Telekinesis.
that tomorrow a big yellow vehicle is going to crash into a brick wall in the St. Louis area. And the next day, lo and behold, you hear a story on the news that a school bus had an accident and crashed into one of those big block barriers that they have on the sides of highways. Okay, and you would think, oh, I predicted that. I saw that happening right in my mind. I saw that happening. You know what I think? I think some devils got together and they drove a bus into a block wall. They may have even had the bus driver have a heart attack or something like that while that was going on, just so he would get out of the way. So I know, listen, which is easier for you to believe? That I have the ability, or these people have the ability to go and move stuff with their brain? No. No. See, that stuff is only real in movies. Or is it easier for you to believe that evil spirits, unclean spirits, familiar spirits, spirits that represent the dead people or the star people, can manipulate things in this world to make it look like you have psychic abilities? And in that sense, God says, see, that's why I don't want you playing with them. I don't want you messing with them, because you're inviting spirits into your life that are, at some point, they're going to turn on you. It's sort of like in this area, several years ago, there was a woman, and we knew about her all the way.
What is the loom for in Minecraft? Banner done.
How to use a loom in Minecraft. This video will explain the loom, how to create banners, and the shepherd traits. What is a loom in Minecraft? A loom
Oh
is
my
the
god.
job site block of the shepherd village and can be used to make custom banners. The crafting recipe for the loom is 2 strings and any 2 wooden planks, and the crafting table crafts a loom. The loom can be broken by any tool or by hand. The quickest tool to use is the axe. The only location a loom can be found in the world is in the shepherd house in the village. How to use the loom. The loom can be used to put patterns on banners. To do this, you will have to right click on the loom and it will show this display. On the left will be 3 slots for a banner pattern, and a die. In the middle of this is a list of patterns, and on the right side is the preview of the finished banner. With banners, you can place 5 patterns on them, on top of each other to create a bigger pattern. This can be used to create numbers, letters, flags, or other stuff you like. There are 6 banner patterns in Java Edition and 8 in Bedrock Edition. I'll have a card on the top right about banner patterns. When you place a banner pattern on a banner, this will not consume the banner pattern. However, using dies will. If you don't like the patterns you placed on the banner, you can use a cauldron with the water in it to remove the last pattern, and this will consume 1 level of water. This can be continued to be used until there is no loom is the job site block of the shepherd villager. The shepherd will buy items from the like shear is not a useful block banner. The loom in the world is in the shepherd house in the village. The only location a loom can be found in the world is in the shepherd house in the village. How to use the loom. The loom can be used to put patterns on banners. To do this, you will have to right click on the loom and it will show this display. On the left will be 3 slots for a banner pattern, and a die. In the middle of this is a list of patterns, and on the right side is the preview of the finished banner. With banners, you can place 5 patterns on them on top of each other to create a bigger pattern. This can be used to create numbers. Side is the preview of the finished banner. With banners, you can place 5 patterns on them on top of each other to create a bigger pattern. This can be used to create numbers, letters, flags, or other stuff you like. There are 6 banner patterns in Java Edition and 8 in Bedrock Edition. I'll have a card on the top right about banner patterns. When you place a banner pattern on a banner, this will not consume the banner pattern. However, using dies will. If you don't like the patterns you placed on the banner, you can use a cauldron with the water in it to
It doesn't show me. Idiots. I'll get it.
It was dark. It was horrible. Before we had the loom!
It's illuminating.
Hello everybody, coming back at you with another video. My name is Chad, and as always, this is not a green screen, okay? I can touch this cat and get out of here, stupid cat. Hey everybody, we're going to be talking about the loom today. The loom is a new block updated in some of the snapshots that have just been coming out, but it is weird. Okay, I don't know how to use it yet. Well, I know how to use it yet, but you're probably telling yourself that you don't know how to use it, so I'm going to teach you everything there is to know about the loom. This is when we add the green screen. So, here we are inside of Minecraft, and this is the block that we are going to be taking a look at. This is what it looks like. It has these crazy, it's like a piano or like a guitar at the top, okay? It has these crazy strings, and then at the front it kind of has that little thing in the side, and then all the other textures are this texture right here. What does it look like on the bottom of it? Okay, whoa, that looks cool. Yeah, it has a cool looking bottom. So that is what the loom looks like inside. This is what the inside looks like, and whoa! This thing looks crazy different than like any block we have had before. I can't think of another block that has a scroll wheel, which we can't scroll at the moment. Other than the creative inventory, I don't think that there is a block out there that has that, at least not on Java, maybe on Pocket Edition. So how do you make it? Well, This is a really, I mean, this is like an end game. Like you have to defeat the dragon. You have to fight at least 100 withers in order to be able to have 2 planks and 2 string. And then bam, you got the loom. So there you go. So now you got yourself a loom. You can set it on the ground. It will face whichever way away you're looking for. You know, it'll face towards you, whichever way you place it. So it's one of those placeable blocks. Now you're actually going to have to learn how to use it. And in order to use it, you do need to make some banners at first. So banners are really simple. If you forgot this recipe, this is what it looks like. You got some more like diagonal, you know, thing, and then it makes a horizontal banner. Don't tell me how. I don't understand how.
Hold on, guys. Oh, wow. How do you name your banner then? How do you name your banner in Minecraft? Anvil to rename the banner. Okay, let me see if this is... I had to put a fish tank there because I had one. You fucking retards. What? You fucking retard. Get over there. There was no fish in that fish tank last time. What the fuck? I don't like that bird. How the fuck? Is there an empty fish tank? That's weird. I like that it's portable, but I gotta get rid of those too because I didn't have them originally. Aquarium. Oh, that's what it was. Oh.
From when I was a teenager, there was a chimpanzee ranch just about 3 miles from where I'm sitting right now. And this lady was raising chimpanzees, and she was being real nice to them, feeding them every day, treating them right, so on and so on and so on. I think they ended up hurting somebody or killing somebody. I can't remember the exact story.
They mauled her face.
But those chimpanzees turned on that woman. Okay? I'm telling you, these creatures that we're dealing with are beasts. The serpent, the dragon, is a beast. And it may all be nice and pretty and sweet, sort of like a male or a female grown cheetah who captures a young little fawn of a deer. They play with it forever. They play with it and bat it a little bit and play around with it, and the little deer doesn't know any better. Picks it up, walks around with it, sets it down gently on the ground, and then plays with it. And then next thing you know, it's ripping its head off. Okay? That's how it is in the spirit world. And so right here you have the information that along with these alien visitations, there comes psychic abilities. And now the Bible is trying to tell you exactly what's going on behind the scenes where we cannot see. the truth of this so-called psychic ability. Getting back to Close Encounters of the Third Kind, there was this scene here where the main character, Roy Neary, has a visitation from a UFO. He never has contact yet with the aliens, but they fly right over his truck. You see him, you know, the bright light and everything like that. And what happens is there's a little sound of like a high-pitched humming sound, and all of a sudden now he's seeing this mountain shape in everything. You know, if you remember the shaving cream and the mashed potatoes and the pillows and things like that. Then he's building, you know, Devil's Tower in his living room. Runs his wife off. She thinks he's crazy and so on. But then what does he do? He goes taking off towards Devil's Tower, Wyoming. And so do 11 other people. 12. And in the movie, Claude Lacombe is trying to reach this Major Walsh here, who is in charge of the government operation at Devil's Tower, and saying, we want these people here. We need them here. They had a psychic connection. The aliens planted this image in their mind of Devil's Tower, and they all came to this one spot. They had a psychic connection. There was a voice and an image telling them to come to this location. I've always said to people, if you don't believe a person who says they saw a UFO, most people won't tell it. They tell me because they know I believe them. But most people don't just come right out and say, I just saw a UFO very close to our backyard. Most people won't do that. They'll hush it up because they don't want to be seen as crazy by the neighbors or anything else. Believe it or not, people still lose their jobs over stuff like this. Okay? But if there was a case that I could present to you that to me would show absolute 100% positive truth that this planet is being visited by beings of an extraterrestrial nature, meaning they're not from this earth, or at least the surface of this earth. They're not from here. They're not part of us, part of the natural world. If I were to try to tell you any story, it would be this one right here. September 16th, 1994, the Ariel Elementary School in Zimbabwe. The teachers were having a meeting. And so all of the 100 plus children were out on the playground. And all of a sudden now, a silvery disc landed in a place they called the bush, which was right beyond the playground limits. They were all told that not to go into the bush. Well, that's where the craft landed. Two little entities came out wearing black jumpsuits. And the children described their movements as if they were like floating above the ground and not really touching the ground. Just kind of bounding and leaping, kind of like you saw the astronauts on the Apollo missions jump around like that. Only they weren't touching the ground. And so out of the 100 children, 62 of these children reported that they saw the ship land. The men in the little big-headed, almond-shaped eye, because John Mack, the Harvard psychiatrist at the time, he was head of the psychiatric department at Harvard University, traveled all the way over to Zimbabwe to research and to talk to these students. And he had them draw a picture of what they saw, and almost all of them drew exactly the same picture. Silvery craft, small little guys, big heads, and almond-shaped eyes, black eyes. And so 62 of the children saw that, and then they saw the ship take off. Some of them ran in fear while others watched as these aliens came out. Several students who made eye contact with the beings reported a downloading of images and visions of the destruction of the earth, burning of the forest, blamed on man's flirting with technology. And they're describing this as, 10, 11, 12-year-old children. And they're drawing pictures. Some of them you could see were tormented by this. As John Mack was interviewed, there's a documentary on this called Aerial Phenomenon. And did you know that some of those children who were interviewed back in 1994 on film decided to come back and do this documentary film, and they're saying the same thing. Nobody is saying we made that up when we were kids. We decided to play a trick on the teachers to get out of school, and we all made this up. Nobody's saying that. Of the children that have grown to be adults, who could be located, and who would be part of this documentary, they all confirmed, we know what happened, and it changed our lives forever. And so one of the things that's interesting about this is that it was a school that had mixed race in it. You had black children and you had white children. They all spoke good English, but the black children, whose genealogy goes back into African history, these African children, it's the only reason why I call them that, because they're native Africans. These African children believed that these aliens coming out were what's called tokoloshes. I mentioned this to my son and daughter-in-law. My son is from Kenya. And he said, yeah, I know what a tokolosh is. It's like a devil. The black children thought they were devils coming out. Well, guess what? I believe that's what they were. And so you have this situation here where when these children looked into the eyes of these devils, these aliens, they got an instant download of images into their brain of the forest burning and the seas boiling and acid in the air and all these terrible things happening to the earth because mankind is overusing technology and he's destroying the planet. That John Mack wrote a book called Abduction. I'm going to get into it. And in his book, he said that out of all the 100 people that he did a hypnotic regression on, of those people, many of them, afterward, they became more sensitive to the environment and environmental causes. It's like they were downloaded into their brain to think that the earth is near to be destroyed by man's own stupidity. And that the aliens, are trying to stop this, and they're going to use human agents to get mankind to stop, polluting the streams and the ocean, to stop, burning carbon-based, fuels, and, to stop depleting the ozone layer, and on and on and on, all this stuff that you hear from environmentalists. Most of these people basically turn into tree huggers. And as such, then they worship a female spirit, a goddess called Gaia. Although in the Old Testament she was called Ashtaroth. She was a goddess of fertility. But the 62 students at the Ariel School, I can see maybe 3 or 4 of the young ones making up a story and them trying to get out of school early with it, saying, hey, there was strange men back there in the bush and they were trying to steal us kids. Yeah, but they didn't do that. 62 of them, all 62 of them, same thing happening. It was not a hallucination. It certainly wasn't a joke. So that leaves you with what to believe. Okay? You can believe the safe way, but you might be caught off guard as the days go by. Now even Congress is recognizing that the UAP phenomenon is real. For the first time in American history, they're saying this represents something else from beyond Earth that could be a threat, not only to our nation, but to the entire planet.
Let's go expeditions.
struggles at times. And I want to share with you
Mexico expeditions.
Quang Binh Province, Vietnam. 1990. Walker Ho discovers a mysterious entrance to obscured by dense jungle overgrowth. The cliffs leading down to the entrance are so steep he cannot explore it further, but he notes its location. Nearly 2 decades later, the British Cave Research Association finally explores the cave. What the team discovers is astounding. It is the largest underground chamber on the planet.
it's not just a cave, it's an actual world in Vietnam. Inside this cave, it's 40 stories high. There's actually an ancient forest. Not just a puddle or a stream, but an actual river. Inside the cave is an entire growing ecosystem. And it's so deep that it looks like it's an entrance to a whole other reality.
This incredible subterranean realm, called the Song Dong Cave, is estimated to be roughly 3 million years old. It burrows through the earth for nearly 6 miles, and numerous areas where the cave ceiling has collapsed allow sunlight to enter, resulting in the growth of trees and other vegetation. But according to area residents, what's most notable about Song Dong Cave are the strange creatures that are believed to dwell within it.
Local residents describe seeing reptilian-type humanoid beings emerging from the Song Dong Cave, and they believe that they actually live inside this cave. What's fascinating about this is that these reptilian-type humanoid beings are similar to the seraphim, or the winged serpents in Kabbalistic tradition. The seraphim are said to have gone and lived in the inner earth, according to Kabbalistic teaching.
Is it possible that reports of reptilians at Song Dong Cave are encounters with beings from inner Earth? While it may sound too incredible to be true, there have been reports that during the Vietnam War in the 1970s, U.S. soldiers encountered what they described as upright lizards inhabiting caves. And accounts of reptilian beings existing in underground caverns can be found all across the globe, even on the other side of the world, in Cusco, Peru.
Throughout Peru and around Cusco particularly, there are many, many stories of a tunnel system that has something to do with serpent deities, which they call the Amaru there. The Peruvian authorities themselves decided it was too dangerous for people to go to these tunnels, so they looked for all of the entrances they could around Cusco, and they sealed them up. This is a well-known story within Peruvian history.
While there have been many reports from around the world of human-like reptilians, there is another inner-earth entity described in the Zohar that is even more commonly witnessed in modern times.
According to Zoharic literature, there is being inside the earth has large black eyes and a nose that leaves only 2 dark holes on the face. Now that corresponds to things that we've heard about these, for lack of a better word, ETs. There is a lot of evidence that these beings that we think are inside our own Earth. The black-eyed entities, commonly referred to as
You
graves by
motherfucker.
ufologists, are the beings most often reported by alleged alien abductees, many of whom claim to have been taken aboard saucer-shaped craft.
You fucking idiots, get over there.
That the so-called flying saucers, so often reported in modern times, are not coming from outer space, but inner Earth.
2 = 6?
According to some ancient astronaut theorists, this notion is supported by numerous accounts of UFOs that are seen disappearing into the landscape, and sometimes even flying directly into mountains.
Antarctica has captured the imagination of many who claim ancient civilizations lie buried beneath the ice, and rumors of extraterrestrial contact and advanced technology hidden in its remote corners abound. While the secular narrative dismisses many of these theories as speculative or lacking evidence, supporters argue that Antarctica holds clues to humanity's past, present, and future that have yet to be fully explored and understood. In this video, I am to discuss the truth surrounding Antarctica, with the goal to entice people to read the works within the Bible, so that they may follow more closely the Word of God. If you enjoyed the contents of this video, please remember to like, and if you would want to see more, subscribe.
I need to get the fuck over there. Orc headquarters. Warcraft 2 buildings list.
Hello, folks. This is Pastor Mike Hoggers coming to you from Watchman Studios with another Watchman video broadcast. We are still doing the sightings series, but I think this will be, at least for now, maybe in this year, will be the last of our sightings series. And I will tell you that I ended up actually making more as far as video footage, the number of hours that we spent together on this subject, more than I anticipated earlier. So everything that you get on this series is going to be like bonus footage, all right? And we've reserved, I think, the best, or maybe let's say the most controversial subject until now, and that is the subject of what used to be called flying saucers, and then they were called UFOs because flying saucers didn't really cover what people were seeing, so they called them UFOs, unidentified flying objects. And then that UFO thing that got associated with, you know, crazy people who are out looking for UFOs, and so anyway, so the military decided to coin another phrase, UAP, which at one time stood for unknown aerial phenomenon, and let's see if I can remember it now. They've changed. They keep changing it. Okay, it's like some people who, you know, take a shower or brush their teeth. They do it like at least once a month, right? So anyway, they've changed UAP to unknown it is. You should look it up this month and then find out next month what it means next month. But anyway, we've reserved this last time for that subject. And, you know, you're probably
How do you
like
put your
me.
banner on a map?
I've seen quite a bit of movies, TV shows. This subject always
On a banner that was
fascinated
placed
me.
out in the overworld.
All throughout my childhood, from the very first time, Jack Webb of Dragnet and Emergency put out a show called Project UFO. And it was based upon a movie that he produced called Project Blue Book, and it was about Project Blue Book, the Air Force's alleged bogus investigation of UFO sightings by common normal people. And so anyway, I started watching that when I was a kid, and I was like, this is so neat. And the fact that Jack Webb started out talking.
In this video, I'm going to show you how to place a marker on a map in Minecraft. It's really easy to do. You need a banner and a map to do this. If you want your banner to have a name underneath it, like I'm doing here with the farm home with my marker, just go to Anvil and rename the banner. I'm going to rename it to subscribe. You might as well leave a like and subscribe. Once you've done that, you can place the banner wherever you want. And as you can see, it won't show up on the map. Then while you're on the map, just click on the banner, and right there, it will show up on the map.
You piece of shit.
See, it will update.
Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Ugh.
Marker, just go to Anvil and rename the banner. I'm going to rename it to subscribe. You might as well leave a like and subscribe. Once you've done that, you can place the banner wherever you want. And as you can see, it won't show up on the map. Then while holding the map, just click on the banner, and right there, it will show up on the map. And as you can see, it will update right there. I really hope you have a map to do this. If you want your banner to have a name underneath it, like I'm doing here with the farm home with my marker, go to Anvil and rename the banner. I'm going to rename it to subscribe. You might as well leave a like and subscribe. Once you've done that, you can place the banner wherever you want. And as you can see, it won't show up on the map. Then while holding the map, just click on the banner, and right there, it will show up on the map. And as you can see, it will update right there. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. In this video, I'm going to show you how to place a marker on a map in Minecraft. It's really easy to do, and you only need a banner and a map to do this. If you want your banner to have a name underneath it, like I'm doing here with the farm home. Marker, just go to Anvil and rename the banner. I'm going to rename it to subscribe. You might as well leave a like and subscribe. Once you've done that, you can place the banner wherever you want. And as you can see, it won't show up on the map. Then while holding the map, just click on the banner, and right there, it will show up on the map. And as you can
What the fuck?
Gatorade Zero.
Mm.
Zero sugar hydration with all the flavor.
In this video, I'm going to show you how to place a marker on a map in Minecraft. It's really easy to do, and you only need a banner and a map to do this. If you want your banner to have a name underneath it, like I'm doing here with the farm home and my marker, just go to Anvil and rename the banner. I'm going to rename it to subscribe, so you might as well leave a like and subscribe. Once you've done that, you can place the banner wherever you want, and as you can see, it won't show up on the map. Then while we're on the map, just click on the banner, and right there, it will show up on the map. And as you can see, it will.
Doesn't work. How to place a banner on a map in Minecraft 1.21. Thank
For
you.
Minecraft Bedrock in the 1.20 update, the developers have added the 1.5 crouching ability, so you can do things like this and go under slabs. They also took the time to add the most requested pirate feature,
What's his name?
that is the ability to put
Deadpool.
banners on shields. But what we don't have, like Minecraft Java Edition, is the ability to do banner, map, markers. Well, hey, that changes. Here is a fun fact for you. That feature was introduced to Minecraft Java Edition in the 1.13 update. That was back in 2018. This was created by a user called A Star. I'll leave a link down below where you can check them out, along with the download. Just a quick warning, for those of you planning to download this, the file is a .mc add-on. You actually need to rename this because the file needs to be a .mc pack. Otherwise, when you try to install this, you're going to get issues. Hopefully the creator fixes that. For those interested in checking this out, you are going to need an empty locator map or any pre-existing map, and you are going to need a banner. Now, it does not matter what color the banner is. It can be white, it can be blue, it could be red. It does not matter. Now, what you want to do is start off by getting your map, an old one, or in fact a new one. We're going to be using a new one here. Now, this is my spawn location, and what I do want to say is that this comes with some pros but also some cons. So for example, we're currently using a map level which is 0 out of 4. As you guys know, you can increase the size. With increasing the size, it does make it a lot harder to pinpoint the markers, but I will show you throughout today's video. Like I said, you want to come up to this banner, and all you want to do is just tap on the banner. Now, tapping on the banner will create a color, but as you guys know, this is a white banner, so why is the color different? Well, it just is. You're just going to have to accept it's a different color. But the pro with this is, let's say you don't like that color, you can tap on it again, and it'll get rid of the marker, and you can tap on it again, and it will give you a different color. And you can do this as many times as you want, honestly. You can mess around with as many different ones as you wish. I thought it was a really, really cool idea, and you can just tap on this. And I kind of like this one, right? I like the color of this one. No, not that one. We're going to change that again. I like that one. This is going to be perfect for my spawn location. So you are going to have to remember the colors. Now, like I said, when it comes to... I'm going to change our game mode here. When it comes to Minecraft Java Edition, I would put this inside of here, and what you see at the intro is I would name this as spawn, and you can see here it says spawn. So I put this over here. What we are going to do is get rid of this one momentarily and tap on this one, which we know is spawn. You will notice that it doesn't actually say spawn, which is a little bit unfortunate in my opinion, and if the creator can figure out how to get that working, then this will be 10 out of 10. Now, like I said, this is currently the smallest map possible. So, if we go inside of here and we type in paper, again, the bigger this gets, the harder it becomes. So if I was to put this back inside of here, again, it's like visually impossible to see it. You can probably just about see it. So it looks really good on the surface for a level 0 map. It looks really good on the surface for a level
level 1 map, but as soon as you go to 2 and above, it then becomes a little bit obsolete. So if you just go to map one more time, I'll go grab a brand new one here. They should stay. Yes, they do stay. The locations do stay, so I like that ability that they stay there. But you can put multiple ones on here. So what we'll do is I'll grab the blue one, for example, and we'll go and do a little bit of exploring out at sea. Oh wow, look, we've just found ourselves a lush cave biome. It's really important that we know where this is. So we'll place this down, and what we'll do is we'll tap on this again, and as you can see, it does leave multiple markers. Maybe I don't want it to be that color, still don't want it to be that color, and again, this is where it can be a little bit tedious. That's not the right color for this. Sure, that will work. It's quite light. And again, I know that's going to be my spawn location, and I know this is going to be my lush cave. This time we stumbled across an amethyst geode. These are really good to know, so I thought, you know what, we'll keep this as
It's
a
not
map
working
marker.
on.
Don't like that color, I'm going to change it. That one doesn't work just yet. Gonna keep changing it. Sure, that actually works for me. You get the point. So like I said, it does come with some pros, but it also comes with some cons. Hopefully, this is going to be an official feature very soon for Minecraft Bedrock Edition.
It's the documentary everyone's talking about, and it isn't over yet.
Banners. Maps. Maybe I wonder if he.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Big Wireless has once again raised their prices. Bringing back our deflation
That guy's cool.
This is my way of getting torches, chat. It's a little bit
I gotta ask.
less efficient than some people would choose. 100% can agree on that. And otherwise,
Can
it's good. Also, a few more zombies. I did need some more rock dust, I guess.
how
Technically speaking. And we also have a
I
chest here where we
can
can grab.
place
I don't think I need to.
a
Marker.
marker
I think having a stack of chests in my
on
inventory because
a
that's where my big
map
brain went. I knew I had a
for
second one. So, dump some stuff on the
PS4.
ground. I've got to remind myself that this exists here. So I'm gonna make a big hole through the wall here, and it's gonna be a reminder to future me to go this way. I need to go in there, and I need to use that ominous bolt once I get the key. Warden's slowly chasing you down. Is that what you hear when you're listening to the song? Beautiful, if so. Very, very good song I think I'm going to be making. So that's 11, and that should be a good amount to go all the way now. I hope, and I hope that I'm not wrong for hoping. Oh, there's a creeper. See the creeper, just heard it. You know, that's the perfect way for creepers to be. Chat, I had an idea just now. You know, you can tell me if you think this is crazy. I think creepers should count as arthropods. I think the way you buff planar arthropods to make it a usable enchantment is you say that, yeah, actually, creepers are clearly an arthropod. You gotta say, like, yeah, they're weird looking animals. What else would they be if they're not an arthropod, you know? And once you can say that to yourself, calmly and easily, I still didn't get any buttons. I was going there for buttons. I didn't come back with any. I'll make sure I do this time. The music box feels more sad than creepy to me. Aww. Yeah, I get sad more than creepy too. I think a lot of people mix up sad and creepy. If something's sad enough, it becomes creepy because, you know, like, an event's so sad it makes you do creepy things. I'm assuming. You're like, well, you know, once, you know, like every like creepy story starts with like, oh yeah, and his family were all murdered tragically, and so that is why he decided to become a serial killer. And, you know, as if like it's meant to make it like a relatable serial killer. I'm not picking these buttons up. So, not needed. There we go. Button time. I'll have enough buttons to last me forever now. Perfect. Okay, I'm ready to go mining now, chat. And I hopefully will be, when I come back here, I'll be able to take down these spawning spots. So I'll have like 2 sets of trowels to bounce back and forth between, which will increase my odds of eventually getting the thing. It's not guaranteed, just to be clear, but it is still a handy thing. There are also candles on the ominous dot which you can take and light with fire charges from the dispensers. See, that's HHFF, that's the sort of forward thinking we need if we're going to be able to see in this tunnel. I'm glad that we have you thinking of stuff like this. But yeah, the music sounds appropriate for a spooky fairy tale for 5-year-olds. I think every spooky 5-year-old fairy tale starts with, and then his wife and parents were murdered brutally by the state, and that is why he became the way that he did, you know. And now every night he haunts people. It's always something like that, you know. So deep slate, tough bricks, lapis lazuli. Hey, thank you. Did I get my crafting table? I did. It's over here. Let's use it to craft the diamond dance. It's expensive, but I think worthwhile. And then like a diamond helmet, I think is good too. Thank you, NepNep, for helping us very slightly closer towards our goal to getting 420 members. I will be bathing in Doritos at that goal. As it's like a little sub goal on the way to 500. So thank you for helping. Massive appreciation. So rotten flesh time? Yeah, no, it's not rotten flesh time until it's desperately rotten flesh time.
For Minecraft Bedrock in the 1.20 update, the developers have added the 1.5 crouching ability, so you can requested parity feature, and that is the ability to put banners on shields. But what we don't have, like Minecraft Java Edition, is the ability to do banner map markers. Well, today, that changes. Here is a fun fact for you. That feature was introduced to Minecraft Java Edition in the 1.13 update. That was back in 2018. This was created by a user called A Star. I'll leave a link down below where you can check them out, along with the download. Just a quick warning, for those of you planning to download this, the file is a .mc add-on. You actually need to rename this because the file needs to be a .mc
Oh,
pack.
fuck you.
Otherwise, when you try to install this, you are going to get
show was Ezekiel saw the wheel, which points us right to Ezekiel 1, and as a young boy who was going to America, I thought, well, this is right up my alley here. Little did I know that what was a childhood curiosity would be a lifelong interest and a lifelong study and investigation into what exactly these UAPs are, UFOs, flying saucers, flying phenomenon. Maybe they came from underground. Hold on to your hats, people. And what exactly these were, and what were the entities flying or manipulating these particular aerial. How can we contact them? Now, of all the movies that we've seen about contact with so-called aliens.
Hold on, y'all. I gotta check something outside. I gotta see.
civilizations out in far-rung galaxies. When it comes to that, you've probably seen it, you know, like on Star Trek. With Star Trek, they use a communicator, or the thing they hold in their hand, and they try to, or, you know, Captain Kirk will sit in his chair, and he'll hail some alien vessel that's moving along, and they'll try to talk to it using some form of carrier wave. Same thing, I think, in Star Wars. They're using, you know, space-bound carrier waves to talk from one species of humanoid or living creature to another. You might be surprised to know that the way that people are contacting the aliens now in the 21st century, we actually have people who totally 100% believe that they are in contact with what they call the star people. And they call them our friends, and we're going to see that. But let me show you how these people make a phone call to ET. Take a look. I guess their hands are like antennas and so on. No, I don't really believe that. What are these people doing? They're practicing yoga, which, if you don't know what the word means, it's a Sanskrit word that means yoke. They're tied. And the idea is, I'm not kidding you, look it up. The idea behind yoga is you are connecting or being yoked to a god. Brahma, Buddha, Shakti, Shiva. Name 330 million gods and you can connect to any of them that way. You're yoked together with them. Can you think of a Bible verse where it talks about being yoked? Be not yoked together with unbelievers. For what concord hath Christ with Belial, and so on. And so, while these people, and let me just kind of explain the difference here. Instead of using a radio or using, you know, a telephone, a cell phone to contact them, which would require us knowing their language and they knowing our language, which is a topic of itself. The thing is that most people who have had some sort of interconnection with the entities that are aboard these flying chariots say that they spoke a language that they did not understand. Did you know that's in the Bible? Deuteronomy chapter 28, God promised that he would send a nation from afar, a nation from beyond the earth, and it would be a nation of fierce countenance, not regarding the old or the young, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. He didn't say eventually you would understand it. God said you would not understand it. And so how do you suppose that we contact an alien species that has traveled millions of light years to come to this planet here to bring in a golden age of enlightenment and peace and marijuana and happiness and pass the whiskey and the bong? And how do we expect to have those people help us with our transformation into the God people? Well, since we can't communicate with them in words, then the idea is we will communicate with them using practices that people of ancient religions have been using now for thousands of years. We're going to allow those people to have access to our minds, and we're going to communicate with them not with words, but with thoughts. And they're going to communicate to us not with words, but with thoughts. And these practices, and I'm going to lay out the scriptures for you, these practices are strictly forbidden by God. All throughout the scriptures. So what we're going to do first, while these people make their phone call to ET, we're going to go line upon line through scriptures. We're going to lay a biblical foundation for what we're going to look at today. Genesis 3. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. The woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, a direct contradiction of what God said, Ye shall not surely die. For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened. Now I want you to pay attention to that phrase. Your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. Three things that the devil promised here. The serpent. And understand this imagery of a serpent, because we're going to see it again. Believe it or not. Though, if you want to study the UFO phenomenon and do an honest study of it, you are going to run into a species or a race of UAP, UFO, flying saucer inhabitants that are referred to as the reptilians. Why? Because they look and they act as like serpents or lizards or dragons is one of the Bible words. So pay attention to what this serpent is doing right here. Then he promises her that she won't die. We're going to see that again too. Near-death experiences where people come back and they have this enlightened idea of death and life again. For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened. Well, we've got two eyes, but they teach that you have a third one right here, right where your pineal gland is. And that eye needs to be opened. Believe it or not, guess what creature they believe opens the third eye?
A serpent.
The serpent. Ye shall be as gods, was the last thing he said, knowing good and evil. That's also part of this as well, and we're going to see it as we move along. I have a lot of information to give you, and I want to try to give it to you in one video, all right? Deuteronomy chapter 18. Here's the list of things that God said, don't do these things. Now, is God just trying to rain on our parade? Is he out to destroy us having a good time? Does God not want us enlightening our mind and opening our mind up to different ideas and different thoughts? Or you may have been led to believe by some people that this evil patriarchal God is withholding all the good stuff from humanity, and it's the serpent people and the reptilians and the tall whites and the little grays and all the other different species that are out there. It's their job to try to get them to mankind. In that sense, they're not that far away from, who was it that wanted to go into heaven to steal fire from the gods?
Fucking idiot.
So he goes up into heaven and steals fire from Zeus and the other gods on Mount Olympus, and he brings fire now to mankind. And the gods are angry with him, and so in order to punish him, they punish him for all of eternity, because he dared bring something that was only for the gods, fire, and brought it down to mankind. And the gods didn't like that. Is that the way God is? Is that the way the God of the Bible is? No.
No.
God only withholds from us and tells us not to do things because he's being a loving heavenly Father. Just as a good father here on this earth would teach their children, don't go too far next to that hole there. You might fall in. Don't go hanging around this lake. There's got snakes in it. Don't get within too far from being able to see home. That way we can reach you if we need to. A good father will seek to protect his children from harm or being kidnapped or being killed. He will seek to protect his children from those things that he knows can bring them harm. And God is the same way here. God knows the devils and the entities that are behind these particular practices. And God is telling us, don't get involved with them. This is why I've been telling you all along now, don't use Ouija boards. They are absolute occult divination practices You're going to see that here. God says, just don't do it. Deuteronomy 18:10. Open up the mouth among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through fire, or that useth divination, and I'll explain divination in a little bit, or an observer of times, that's an astrologer, or an enchanter, that is someone who uses incantations and mantras, or a witch, someone who casts spells, or a charmer, someone that uses amulets and so on, or a consulter with familiar spirits, that is what we would call a medium, fortune teller, or a wizard, pretty close to someone who has a familiar spirit, or a witch, or a necromancer. And a necromancer is someone, we'll put it in the terms that some of these religions use. The New Age seeks after the ascended masters. Well, who are the ascended masters? They are, in many cases, people who used to live on this world, and they died, and they went to the higher ethereal plane, and they are sort of like guardians of the galaxy, and it's their job to pass on this great, awesome wisdom to mankind and to any other species out there that would hear it. So these ascended masters basically are dead people. That those who practice getting in contact with them, those who practice in the Native American religions, they honor their ancestors, their forefathers. They pray to their forefathers. They say they're part of the sky gods now. One of the reasons why most Indian tribes buried their dead high up on platforms is the idea that if we put them in the ground, they won't go up to the sky. So we're going to put them up here, literally, as the ravens and the vultures and whatever animal came by to eat those people and pick the meat from those carcasses, and they flew up into the heavens. Those Native American tribes and First Nations believed that that's how they would achieve their trip into heaven. Okay? And God said, just, stay away from it. These people are not telling you the truth. Even in Japan, you have ancestor worship. They honor their ancestors, which is what drove them partly to do what they did in World War II. They were following the shogun's call, as it were, all right? But anyway, these are 9 things that God said don't do them. Why? Because they're linked with evil activity. They are linked with the presence of demonic spirits, unclean spirits, familiar spirits. We saw the definition of that the last time. And so God says, just stay away from them. I'll be your guide. I will tell you what you need to know. Call unto me and I will answer thee and show thee great and mighty things that thou knowest not. That's what God said. Jesus said, ask and it shall be given. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. So,
hallelujah, hallelujah.
that if I ask him a question, he will give me an answer. And it'll
I
be the right
heard
answer.
there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. You don't really care for music, do you?
God with my problems, with my questions, with the help that I need, and I will get it easily. All I have to do is call out to the name of the Lord. Cry unto the Lord. The Bible says.
Composing,
Jesus said, call
hallelujah.
unto me, and I will answer thee. Okay? Where 2 or more gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. If any 2 of you agree as touching anything in heaven and earth, it shall be done. Whereas these jokers make you learn long hours, spend long hours training to pray the right way, quote unquote pray, to meditate the right way, and sometimes you'll get it, sometimes you won't, and God just says, I'm better than that anyway. I can do more than they can, and I'm just a better God all the way around. That's what I believe. Amen. Deuteronomy chapter 13, the Bible says, if there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and giveth thee a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder come to pass, whereof he spake unto thee, saying, let us go after other gods, which thou hast not known, and let us serve them. Now, this scene that you're looking at here is a scene from Spielberg did Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Steve?
There was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. You don't really care for music, do you?
Would teach their children, don't go too far next to that hole there. Go too far next to that hole. Seems pretty simple. Seems pretty ancient as far as technology is concerned. But no, these have to be contacted via psychic ability. In fact, the person in this movie, Close Encounters, Roy Neary, that is exactly how he ended up leaving his home in Indiana, driving all the way out to Wyoming to go to Devil's Tower, Wyoming. There's a reason why. I might get into that during this. And there at Devil's Tower, Wyoming, the government's there, Neary is there. You've got 12 people as part of a interplanetary exchange program. I'm not making this up. There is a rumor on the internet that there was an exchange program. I'm not saying there was. But the fact that they picked 12 people tells me something. And here we have Neary's character, and basically they are seeking after other gods. Because it's manifest that their technology is way beyond ours. And any advanced technology, let's say someone from America right now, going back in time to like 1880, how would you explain how this mechanism worked to someone living in 1880?
There was a secret chord
Or
that
let's
David
say
played. Please the Lord, but you
and you're
don't
in the Plymouth
really care for music, do you?
and those
Go
good
like this,
Calvinists
the
there, if you were to go
fourth
back in time
my
with a phone
father
like
major
this
left.
and show it to them, they would cry, witchcraft! You art thou having witchcraft!
Hallelujah.
Okay? Anyway, gotta move along. So, obviously, their goal is to use
I need some
signs
signs.
and wonders in the sky. When people see a UFO, they just go, some of them just curse nonstop. It's a sign or a wonder. But the purpose of that sign or the wonder is to get us, mankind, to go after other gods. And God says, you don't know what you're doing. Don't hang around those people. 1 Samuel 28, God warns us about familiar spirits as well. And Saul disguised himself and put on other raiment, and he went, and 2 men with him, and they came to the woman by night, and he said, I pray thee, divine unto me by the familiar spirit, and bring me him up, whom I shall name unto thee. Now, the definition of the word divining here in this verse, it literally means information given to you by way of psychic or familiar spirit means. In other words, rather than reading, I have my Bible open to the book of Haggai, rather than reading with my eyes the book of Haggai or listening to it as Alexander Scorby reads it, and then reading part of it, from a sermon or whatever, rather than us getting the words of God into our mind and our heart the normal way, those who use psychic means believe that they have the ability to transmit entire downloads, they call it downloads in 21st century terms, to download into their brain whole sections of the Bible or diagrams of certain technology. They use this psychic power to transfer information and thoughts in a way that is not according to nature. Nature says read it or nature says hear it, but they go supernatural into a paranormal state, and they are either given those thoughts and given those words and given those diagrams or whatever it is. One case that I know of, the RAF Bentwaters in England, there in the 1980s, there was a couple of UFOs that were flying around this nuclear storage base in England. And I think the colonel of the base, Colonel Charles Halt, I think he's the one that they found the
I
saucer
start pranking. I gotta do
that had
pranks, damn
landed
it. I
in the
got to.
forest there, Rendlesham Forest. He went over there and he saw this writing on it that looked like, cuneiform or hieroglyphics. And when he moved his fingers across the letters, he instantly got all of this knowledge, this information, zeros and ones. And he said that thing stayed in his brain for days and weeks until finally he sat down with a pen and paper and started writing out the combination.
I'm gonna use this for the grapes.
If you know anything about computers, you know that's binary language. When he wrote the last one and the last zero, instantly that information was gone out of his brain because he had
I heard it through the grapevine.
to get information by means of the Spirit. What Saul was doing here, because God was not going to talk to him anymore, Saul decided to go to the other team, the other side. Satan, the dragon, the serpent. And so a familiar spirit came up out of the earth. Because the woman said, I saw God ascending out of the earth. And that familiar spirit named itself Samuel. Saul believed it was Samuel, and that quote-unquote fake Samuel gave Saul information that he could not get anywhere else. That's what divination is all about. And this reason why I say don't use Ouija boards or any other kind of divination, because you are inviting a devil, a demon, an evil spirit to take control of the part of your body, your hand, or your mind, or God forbid, your heart. Revelation chapter 6. Let's look at this. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake. And the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And then in Revelation 12, verse
I love
3,
this dude. He looks so
there
fucking
appeared
cool.
another wonder in heaven.
Yeah.
Behold, a great red dragon,
Ha.
having 7 heads
Corn
and 10
seeds.
horns and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. Now notice in Revelation 12 and Revelation chapter 6, that there's going to come a time when the Bible says that a third of the stars that are in heaven are going to fall to the earth. Now, years ago, when I was
You guys, I'm gonna listen to some
I didn't
Minecraft
understand
music.
this. I thought, well,
Like,
I know
comment,
what
subscribe.
stars are. Stars are like these
here.